to start at 8:30. But anyway, we've got an action-packed program for you guys this morning, and we know everybody has things to do, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you. Well, Nancy, it looks like we have a quorum. Great. Thank you all for coming. It's a great turnout. I know some people, again, have to leave. We've got some folks have the other committee that we're working on with the recovery efforts, so apologize for those that have to leave early. So if anybody's had a chance or everybody's had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from the previous meeting, I'll entertain a motion. Second. Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'm going to keep my report really short because we've got a long program, and the only thing I'm going to talk about is the Edison Awards. So I did not have a chance to go to the Edison Awards last year. I was out. This year I got more involved, and what a phenomenal event. They had, I think, 120 companies from 23 countries represented, and the talent that is here, and the folks that it brings to our community is just unbelievable. I don't know how else to explain it. It's hard to explain it unless you're actually there. In the awards program last Thursday night, I mean, the folks that were up there speaking is just incredible. So to have that exposure to our area is second to none. I don't know how we got so lucky to bring them here, but we're certainly glad that they're here. So if you did not get a chance to participate or be involved last year, I highly encourage you to do that next year. So the next 5 years, right, yes. So we have been working, the Bylaws Task Force has been working on updating, kind of cleaning up our bylaws, and two major things that we have before you today are the inclusion of the presidents of FSW and Hodges to the executive committee. So I think in your package you should have those bylaw updates. And so they've gone through the executive committee for approval. Now we're bringing them to the general membership. So if anybody's had an opportunity to look at those and would like to move with a motion. You second, okay. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. That was easy. So next we have Miss Holly Smith. Is she going to be able to, did she have to leave already? Bill. Yeah, she had to go to the other. I was trying to move quickly, so now I can slow down because she didn't make it. So let's go back a few minutes. No. Bill, would you like to give us an update?
Of course, Mark. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Johnson, Jr. I'm the Executive Director of the Horizon Foundation. And yes, as Mark said, our foundation president, Holly Smith, had to leave because she is part of our Lee County Task Force. Touching on what Mark said, President Smith is working with the Lee County Task Force Committee organizers to see if there could be a time change for these meetings. We all know that a lot of you in this room would like to attend those meetings, so we are working with leadership to try and bridge the gap to where we can kind of make it, at least for the Horizon Council meeting days, a little bit more easy for you guys to be able to attend both of those. Touching on what Mark said, the Edison Awards was a huge success. We are so pleased to know that we have this amazing event here for the next 5 years. Mark and Holly, they won't say it, but they did an amazing job representing us in the opening remarks at the gala in front of the whole entire room. Their speech was fantastic. Thank you to all who attended and represented the Horizon Council and the Horizon Foundation. Our Horizon Foundation, Holly Smith and myself, attended all of the networking events over the 3-day period, and I can tell you it was quite an amazing event. If you didn't have the chance to attend, try and wedge it into your schedule next year because it was truly amazing to see these just pure game changers in the world from 23 different countries. We will be having our we are getting back on schedule and having our regularly scheduled Industry Appreciation Awards for 2023 this October. So please save the date. October 27th will be the date for that meeting, and we are working on getting all of the nomination forms out shortly with the Lee EDO and our marketing team, and be on the lookout for those to nominate those businesses. And we are looking forward to not only a fantastic Industry Appreciation Awards event, but it will be our 30th year anniversary for that event as well. So just to close up my remarks, both President Smith and I are looking forward to making ourselves available for outside networking to educate and encourage participation and growth of our investors. We're working with our marketing team and education materials for distribution. We do have a lot of great things in the near future that we'll be getting out, highlighting the Horizon Foundation and everything that we do to be the voice of business and to assist the Horizon Council and the lead EDO. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Bill, for that update. Our Board of County Commissioner Chair and liaison, I guess not chair, but our liaison, Mr. Sandelli. Do you want me to adjust this? You want me to adjust the mic for you?
You and I are perfectly synced. Perfectly synced. Well, good morning. With the first pick in the NFL draft, oh, I'm sorry, that was from last night. But I always wanted to be the commissioner, come out and do that. So I guess I'm a commissioner. I can halfway there and everything. Lots of young, new wealth, created last night. I do want to thank everybody, and we'll talk more about the Edison Awards. What an inspiring event. I've been there a few times. I would happen to be sitting next to Matt Price, and Matt Resort, he goes, when I come in here, I feel pretty good about myself. And after I hear the stuff, I go, man, I am kind of inadequate and stuff like that. I think most of us feel that way, so thank you very much. It's interesting, we talk about innovation, we talk about things, we go around and see all new kind of stuff that's going on, but it's really about people. And there was a wonderful piece, an interview with Elon Musk that I saw the other day. I posted it on Facebook. Talked about his successes, his failures, all the things that make him as a person. And if you have a few minutes, take a look at it, because I think sometimes we get lost in the process and we forget about the people and how challenging that is. So anyhow, it's a great piece, and I can send it to you if you want it. From the county, a few things. First quarter coming to a close. I think the financial impact of what's happened to us is evident. We're working through that. When you talk about FEMA and the federal funds, it's tied to a process, and that process translates into delays, and to delays is what's is hard for everybody. From the state, we're doing a bit better. We're waiting to see how the appropriations committees divvy up certain things, so we'll see that. On the county side, we're fortunate to have reserves and a balance sheet that allowed us to put in place some bridge financing because we do have to pay the bills. We want to keep the services there. But there's some challenges ahead, and so we're working through that every day. Last month, we spent most of the month reviewing priorities. The Tier 1 things such as roads we're trying to keep in place. Tier 2 and 3 may have to adjust something, but when you start adjusting and it's time, it's going to cost you more. So we have to make some priority decisions, as we all do, whether it's in business or anything else. I was talking with Roger, our county manager, and he said, so what's your thoughts on this? I said, it's back to the basics, income and expenses and how you manage that. I was down at Fort Myers Beach yesterday with the mayor, spent most of the day down there. Lots of activity. Prices continue to rise. A lot of investment interest that's going on down there. People are flipping properties and so on and so forth. The water looked great. We've got most of the sand in place for the berm, which will be important. And once they get the dredge, which will probably be next year, you're looking at probably 1 million cubic yards of sand. But it's really good-looking stuff. The pink shell is open again. Publix is expected to open May 25th, so we're starting to see this continuum of things happening. Margaritaville, meeting with Tom Torgerson, I think next week. Margaritaville is on schedule and will open by the end of the year. You'll probably see a lot of things about the Civic Center. It's a very important piece of our community. The building is not in the best shape, so we took that and did an assessment of what the condition it is, and we're looking at ways for the county to help with that and then leave the programming, to somebody else, whether it's the Fair Board or something else. But it's got to be safe. We can't afford to do that. The Resilient Elite Committee community meetings are underway. I went to the Bonita one on Tuesday night, and it's a good program. It's well presented. But for those of you who are participating to that, the problem is they throw a lot of acronyms and they throw a lot of numbers. And I get cross-eyed after a certain point on that. So I said, let me just take one piece, and let's just talk about debris. People think you just pick it up and go dump it somewhere. Now, you got to pick it up. You got to take it to a debris site. It's got to be sorted by, if it's appliances or anything with a chip in it, then it's got to go to the final resting place. They don't like that when I use that term. But there's 3 pieces to that, so that's really important. So if you're participating in that, The team, Haggerty and the team, they do a great job. You know, I try to simplify things as easy as I can so I understand it, but I think it's the responsibility of all of us. And lastly, this is like my daughter is getting, my youngest daughter is getting married next week. We're excited about that. So this is like church. We're going to pass the basket twice. And if you can help, I appreciate it. Good seeing everybody this morning.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandelli. As you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, and we really appreciate your leadership, and sorry that your wallet's going to get drained here pretty soon. But so for our nonprofit minute today, we have Mark Collins, who's the Executive Director of Uncommon Friends Foundation. Mark?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Uncommon Friends, most of you might be familiar. I'm not going to read you what's in your packet. I'm just going to tell you where we are. As many of you know, because there's a lot of former board members, current board members, that organization's been through a lot. I'm always to start with that, be honest about it, because that's just the truth. I took this position in September. Within the first 2 weeks, we had a hurricane. We're a city-owned property, so they called and said, have you been to the house? And I said, yes. And they said, well, what do you think? I said, I don't even know where the light switches are yet. You know, we did, as you might imagine, we do have some things that have to be done. But we opened at the end of October because we count on those events. After that, we put a pretty new board together, a larger board. It was very important to me that we become, in our community, that we have stable legs under us. And then the next part is we have to be financially stable. And we've worked very hard on that. You're going to hear a lot about us. This is our 30th year. They've always operated out of the Burroughs home. We have the Langford Kingston home across the street. We were supposed to move in January because I'm moving the foundation out of the Burroughs home. The Burroughs home will be what it was intended to be and what it was given for as a museum. We're moving all the Uncommon Friends pieces out of there, and we're creating a museum in the Langford Kingston home. Executive offices will be upstairs. We're going to have a tea room. Downstairs, we're going to have a gift shop. So what we're doing is creating a place that when people come to Fort Myers, and as the city is moving east, we're going to be right there in the middle of it. When I took the job, before I took it, I asked a lot of people who I do count on as mentors, do we still need this organization? Is it still relevant? And I didn't have one person who said people need, you know, they need character education, historical preservation, business ethics. If ever we need these things, it's now. So as soon as the city is working on Langford Kingston to get it ready for us, but I'll be coming to see a lot of you because we do need your help. We're starting an aggressive membership campaign, and I appreciate getting to speak. Thank you very much. Yes, we are taking which many of you will remember, the scholarships used to have its own event, and then it all got kind of meshed into one. Scholarship Luncheon is going to be in November, where it'll just concentrate on those young people who have earned scholarships. This year we've given out more scholarships, thankfully, than, I don't know, the past 6 years. So we're very pleased with that. Then our gala will be in December. So please go to our social media page, like us, so you can keep up with us. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. So to introduce our speakers today, we're pleased to have with us Lindsay Burch, who is the marketing director for the Edison Awards.
I think they're having me do this from here because the microphone won't go tall enough for me, so very obvious. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Probably the last time I'll be allowed here, but I better make it good. I'm Lindsay Burch. I'm the Director of Marketing and Client Engagement for the Edison Awards. It was really nice to see so many people that are actually here at the awards this year, so that's always exciting for us. And a big heartfelt thank you from all of us for being a sponsor to the Horizon Foundation and many of the other sponsors that are in the room too. I know everyone says this, we couldn't do it without you guys, but it's true, we couldn't. So it's really, really, we're just really grateful for everything you guys do to make sure that the event is successful and that we're able to host it here. This year was nothing short of incredible. We got to meet with innovators from all over the world. We listened to Johnny Ive and Pat Gelsinger share their personal journeys on stage. We also got to watch 200 students from local area high schools, Community Day, get inspired by different speakers and different activities that were taking place there. So for me, this is much better than a trip to Disney World. So I absolutely adore the Edison Awards. I love everything it does. I love everything that we get to see and do and experience. For those who aren't familiar, last month, we hosted the Edison Awards with 500 individuals from 23 countries. The majority of these individuals were C-level executives across every industry, from startups to Fortune 500 companies. A large portion of my responsibilities includes promoting the event, our winners, our sponsors, and Southwest Florida, not only as a vacation destination, but also as a place to live, work, and grow your business. So it's hard to measure the overall impact of our efforts, but we were able to track that the Edison Awards was mentioned in 297 publications between April 6th and April 23rd. The Lewis Latimer Fellowship was picked up by another 193 outlets. So according to the algorithms, the approximate audience reach was just shy of 95 million people. So getting to share such a positive story with 95 million people makes me really happy. So thank you for allowing us to host and promote this event in Southwest Florida for at least the next 5 years, hopefully longer. If you'd like to see some of the presentations, the content, the photos from the event, they will be available on our website and also on our YouTube channel. So for those of you that didn't get to be there in person, it's still an opportunity to see everything that took place. Okay, with that, it is my honor to introduce you to Reamonn Soto, CEO for Sensatek Propulsion Technology, Inc., and co-founder of 35 Mules, which is also a sponsor of the Edison Awards. Reamonn is a Marine Corps veteran and holds a Bachelor of Science in Physics from Florida A&M University and Masters of Science in Aeronautics at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. He received hands-on training in scientific research in the field of astrophysics and condensed matter physics at the U.S. Department of Energy's Brookhaven National Laboratory and Center for Plasma Science and Technology. Prior to founding Sensatek, he was a certified business consultant with the Florida SBDC, assisting over 200 clients in creating 68 new businesses that raised over $9.6 million in capital and generated more than $79 million in sales. He served as a business consultant at Florida State University, helping to assist over 120 CEOs on business model development through their Small Business Executive Program. Reamonn is an active member of various groups and organizations and has received more awards than I can cover in this quick intro. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. I'm going to just take it over there.
That mic does go up.
All right, since Soton had some slides prepared for you, I figured I would have some as well. And at first, when I got here, I thought they got my name backwards because Soton Rosanwo, I'm Reamonn Soto, and I was thinking, wow, this is interesting. But I'm really glad to be here. I bring you greetings from Daytona Beach, Florida, and also from the 35 Mules program in Juno Beach and the headquarters of Next Air and Florida Power and Light. So just to give you a little bit of background, man, hearing that bio, I'm going to start to believe my press here in a second. I'm a Marine, first and foremost. And, I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps Reserves. I volunteered 5 times to go to Iraq and Afghanistan, but I was sent to Hawaii and Norway. And the Army guys tease me because they say it's because I can read. But so got a degree in physics. There wasn't much I can do with a physics degree in the Marine Corps. So for grad school, I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where I was studying research. I was doing a lot of research in the jet engine lab. And so in the jet engine lab, we were using one of the same engines that's used to power Air Force One. We were using it in our lab as an experimental test rig, and we had parts on our engine that kept failing at high temperatures and at high pressures, and no one really knew why. And so I started to talk to others who had, similar engines, and that's when I discovered places like NextAir and Florida Power and Light rely on a couple of hundred jet engines to be used at a power plant to generate power. I did not know jet engines were also used at power plants. And I think I've been at the power plant here in Fort Myers, where we observed the combined cycle plants also using similar engine models. They're variants of the engine that we had in our lab that was used to power Air Force One. So we had components that were heating, blades that were being destroyed, and no one really knew why. And so I really got out in the field. I talked to more people and discovered that machines like this can generate about $3 million a year per engine, and blade replacement costs because of blades, the most critical component inside of the engine, goes undetected. And so I started getting involved in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So one of the main things I've learned from the National I-Corps Foundation and from a lot of the programs in Central Florida and North Florida, one of the common themes was this idea around customer discovery. Okay, great, you found the problem, but who cares? So what? Go out and don't build your business based off of assumptions. Go out and test those assumptions against real customers. So we had to get out of the building, and I went and talked to 300 customers face to face. So I've crashed parties at the Marine Corps Aviation Association, where I've pitched 4-star generals and got cussed out. They thought I was making up a problem that didn't exist. But then I used that feedback in real time, and I ended up pitching an admiral who is now the CEO of the Florida High-Tech Corridor, Paul Soule, who actually put me in touch with the CTO of the Navy at Naval Air Systems Command. So being bold, not being afraid to fail, not being afraid to get your feelings hurt, not being afraid for someone to tell you that your baby is ugly. I'm sure your grandkids aren't going to be ugly, but... And so... I think that having that experience was very invaluable, because then what I've learned is people don't really necessarily care about saving blades, but they're trying to achieve a mission. They're trying to solve a problem. And so some of the things that I've learned is how, with the increasing aging of aircraft fleets, there's this idea of life cycle costs starting to get out of hand. It's making equipment more costly to maintain. And then, C-130s, since I hope no one's here from the OEM who makes this airframe. I won't mention the name. But for this particular model, a lot of units say that for every 12 C-130s I have, only 6 are actually operational because of part lead times. And the OEM prefers to sell, their response, instead of selling parts, is to buy another plane. Also, the airlines, we're noticing that the airlines are setting audacious goals. You have the commoditization of airline passenger tickets. So airlines are, with tickets starting to become, priced closer to commodities, airlines are struggling to really not only be profitable, but really compete with each other based off of differentiation. So a lot of airlines are setting goals for achieving, fuel economy improvements as a way to further lower the cost and increase earnings per ticket. And so that means engines are now starting to get smaller. We're doing, additive manufacturing to try to, and using different materials in order to, bring the weight down from the engine. And then, we started to go even, upstream. And we discovered, even with rocket test stands, working with Aerojet Rocketdyne, how there's about 3 miles of cables just on rocket engines alone. So that contributes to weight. That contributes to less payload I can now take to space. So I can't, that's a few less satellites I can now take. And so that's money that's being left on the table. So our solution to that, we invented a way of putting wireless sensors directly on the most critical components, such as rotating blades, to basically track the health of these components in real time without using cabled instrumentation. And so with this, we had an OEM bring us out in the field. There was 2 engines that failed, and there was a $20 million outage. We came and put sensors on within 48 hours. They ran the engine, put it at base load. We showed them that they were 300 degrees above what the base load temperature should have been, and they immediately corrected the issue, and they said it saved us another $20 million outage. And so we started then getting more traction. We delivered systems to GE, Raytheon Pratt & Whitney, IHI, the counterpart to GE in Japan, Rolls-Royce aircraft engines, just to name a few. And kind of how it works without going into the science or the physics of it, we basically made sensors out of the coating that already exists on the blades. We mounted high-temperature antennas that are used to communicate with the sensors on the blades, and we produce a report that also uses AI because you're getting millions of data points as those blades are spinning at about 1,000 miles per hour in some cases to provide information in real time that the customer can make decisions on. So it's often said in aviation that a mile of highway will take you just 1 mile, but a mile of runway will take you anywhere you want to go. And so what's next for Sensatek with the 35 Meals program? We have been in the program for about a year now, and we've got a chance to really pivot our business model, use the traction that we've gotten from aerospace, now combined with power generation. We're started to pivot to the wind turbines. So there's about 300,000 wind turbines right now around the world, and by 2050, there will be 2.4 million wind turbines, where we can save half of the operations and maintenance costs associated to catastrophic failure on the blades. And so we're currently, raising our Series A round. So if anyone here, would like to invest, talk to me. We got a lot of traction. Or if there are any potential customers or partners who would like to learn more about our capabilities and the synergies, I'm open to those discussions. So I'm Reamonn Soto, and I approve this message.
It's me again. Now I have the pleasure of introducing one of our 2023 Lewis Latimer Fellows. The Latimer Fellowship is a branch of Edison Universe designed to inspire, connect, accelerate, and enable Black thought leaders with world-shifting ideas. Soton Rosanwo is an entrepreneur, science fiction writer, and artist. Her company, Centinel, utilizes patent-pending technology to provide claims-free coverage for hard-to-insure risks like climate or event disruption. As a senior manager of product and innovation at Allstate, Soto defined strategy and orchestrated collaboration across innovation, product, data science, pricing, and marketing teams to develop patented, new-to-industry risk assessment tools. She brings extensive experience in operations and organizational design, and she is very enthusiastic about how distributed ledger technology will transform how we work, live, and play. And with that, I will turn it over to Soto.
All right. Thank you so much for that incredibly warm introduction. I really appreciate it. And like you, Reamonn, I also at first was kind of like, wait, hold on a second. But similar initials, I guess. Well, I'd also love to say, it was a wonderful experience being able to participate in the Edison Awards as a Lewis Latimer Fellow and visiting Fort Myers as well. Thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this meeting today, and I appreciate the opportunity to share Sentinel with you. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Great. So I am so excited to be able to share Sentinel with you today. As Lindsay mentioned, Sentinel is a parametric platform that provides claims-free coverage for hard-to-insure risks. So when I say parametric, what that means is that our platform is scanning in real time databases to determine whether or not the parameters that define a risk have occurred. Those parameters could be things like a power outage occurring in a particular county, lasting more than 72 hours. Should we detect that those parameters have occurred, then we automatically send the policyholder the pre-agreed upon payout amount. No claims required. Now, we know that the majority of US adults need coverage for hard to insure risks. Whether we're talking about interrupted utilities and infectious disease or climate change and event cancellation, we ran a study with over 400 US adults, and what we found is that 73% say that they don't have adequate coverage for any of these risks. Moreover, we are increasingly facing these hard to insure risks every day, and they're costing over $500 billion a year in the US alone. Traditional insurance, on the other hand, can't adequately cover these risks due to a host of reasons, including inconvenient claims, opaque terms and exclusions, all of which translate into slow reimbursement processes and a subpar customer experience. The solution is Sentinel's claims-free parametric coverage that addresses these hard-to-insure risks. Imagine being able to receive a hassle-free payment if you were to experience any of the risks illustrated here on this page. From our risk pricing analysis, we found that you can do just that for as little as $10 a month. So how does this work? Sentinel provides coverage in 6 steps. First, our platform defines those triggers and writes the contract so that the policyholder can complete a short survey that our AI will use to classify their risk and recommend a policy. Once the policyholder agrees to those contract terms, our platform scans real-time databases to ascertain whether or not covered risks have occurred. Should we detect that covered risks have occurred, then we automatically send payout to the policyholder, no claims required. To make this a little bit more concrete, here's a glimpse of the MVP, which we've just finished building out all the high priority functionality for our initial use case. And after this meeting, please feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to take anyone through a demo of this MVP. So you're probably wondering, well, why hasn't anybody else done this? Sentinel occupies clear white space with defensible competitive advantages. Our competitive set, so to speak, largely falls into 2 areas: parametric insurers as well as traditional insurers. The thing is, this competitive set leaves some gaps. Parametric insurers tend to focus on business risks and primarily focus on the weather risks in the agricultural sector. Traditional insurers, on the other hand, often have inefficient and high-cost operations that lead to a subpar customer service and experience, and also limit their ability to address these hard-to-insure risk areas. On the other hand, Sentinel can sustainably fill those gaps by targeting and servicing both consumers and businesses, covering a broad range of risk types, and leveraging automated and transparent processes that will not only boost our efficiency, but also allow us to prioritize excellent customer service as well. Now, Sentinel will first generate income through the sale of these risk coverage policies and being able to step in and provide value there. As we grow, we will expand into generating revenue from 2 additional streams: licensing our underlying technology, as well as expanding into prediction markets and derivatives trading. Now, we know that people are concerned, but not only are they concerned, they also want coverage. When we asked them, we found that 70% of US adults say that they're interested in purchasing coverage and that they're willing to pay $10 to $100 per month for $500 to $10,000 of coverage. With this information, we're able to start to really understand the size of the opportunity here to provide value. What we found is that the total market opportunity for all US adults is around $188 billion. It sounds like a big number, so let's walk through how we got there. So we know they're just shy of 260 million US adults right now. When we look at the percentage who indicate that they're interested in buying coverage across these 4 risk areas, as well as the average price that they say they're willing to pay, we're able to do that math and get to that $188 billion number. Now, Sentinel is not going to tackle all 4 of these risk areas at once. Rather, our initial use case falls within the interrupted utilities category. When we zoom into that initial use case and focus on our priority states, we see that we have an $18 billion opportunity to provide value based on the 8 priority states that we've selected. We've selected these 8 priority states because we want to focus on those states and those geographies that are already showing high interest in interrupted utilities coverage. For example, we looked at Google AdWords data to understand where are people most strongly of their own initiative searching for coverage for power outages, power outage insurance, and those sorts of things. So even in addressing these or prioritizing these 8 states, what we found is that the expected unit cost still remains profitable. There's economic feasibility to provide coverage within these markets. To reach potential policyholders within these markets and beyond, we're going to lean into a multi-channel distribution strategy that would see us partner with utilities, as well as government or non-governmental and nonprofit organizations as well, organizations such as Horizon. What we found and what we've seen is that a lot of these hard to insure risks often occur in the wake of catastrophic events. And we found that a lot of organizations such as Horizon, such as local governments and municipalities are seeking tools to help better address the aftermath. And we say that Sentinel wants to step into that gap and help be that tool. We'll also partner with independent producers on the insurance side, brokers and agents, and we see the opportunity to partner with retailers as well. Of course, along the way, we'll lean into a high ROI multimedia strategy as well. Our team is highly experienced in insurance, data science, engineering, and general management. As Lindsay mentioned, I'm Sentinel's CEO and founder, and I bring extensive experience in strategy, operations, marketing, and organizational design from my time at companies including Bain, McMaster-Carr, and Draft FCB. Most recently, prior to founding Sentinel, I managed product strategy and innovation at Allstate, which is where I met Alex, who is utilizing his over 20 years of experience in engineering and data science, also at Allstate and places like Amazon, to guide our engineering team as they build out Sentinel's application. So we've taken significant steps to providing peace of mind when insurance isn't enough. From speaking to over 500 consumers and potential customers to building out the MVP for that initial use case, coverage for extended power outages, acquiring substantial risk data, filing for non-provisional patents, as well as paving the way to receive licensing in all 50 states. I strongly believe that together, Horizon and Sentinel have the potential and opportunity to bring greater peace of mind to Lee County and beyond. So please connect with us and also connect us with potential distribution partners. That's what we're seeking right now that can allow us to get this coverage into the hands of policyholders. We would love to connect with customer operations and chief customer officers at utility providers, policy administrators in government, NGOs and NPOs, as well as independent producers and wholesalers on the insurance side. We are your Sentinel, always on guard to make billions of dollars in hard to insure risks coverable. You can go ahead and reach out to me. I'm reachable at sata@yoursentinel.com. Thank you again for the opportunity to share with you today, and I look forward to staying in touch. Also, like Reamonn, we are in the process of fundraising as well. We are in our pre-seed round right now, and if interested in hearing more about that, please reach out to me as well. Thank you.
We have a few moments. Does anybody have any questions for our speakers? No jet engine specific questions. Great. Well, thank both of you. Very interesting.
Both were fabulous, and I can understand why you both had concerns on your name was spelled wrong. But it was really terrific, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being with us this morning. Any voting member input? Hey, Gary.
Can you hear me, or do I need my...
We can hear you.
We can hear you. All right. Good morning. I'm Gary Griffin. I wanted to acknowledge that you've been around for 10-plus years. You've probably witnessed the creation of the collaboratory out of the old Southwest Florida Community Foundation facility we have in downtown Fort Myers. And if you've watched it grow, you probably know that Sarah Owen has just been an amazing force behind the creation of that building and the great work Collaboratory's done. Well, okay, Sarah has made the choice to move on in her career, and so Collaboratory is now undertaking to hire a new CEO and president. A job description is posted on the Collaboratory website, so if you know of people that would, this is an amazing opportunity for someone to step in and take on the seeing us through to our 18-year goal to solve all of the areas social and problems, and we really want to make sure we get the right person for this. So if you know of anyone that would be a good fit for that position, please direct them to the Collaboratory website, and then you can see that job description and help us fill this position over the next couple of months.
Thank you, Gary. Any other input? All right, well, before we adjourn, again, as always, we certainly appreciate Dr. Albritton allowing us to use his beautiful facility here. I know it's a very busy facility, so, and obviously it works great, even virtual. So if there's no other business, I'll accept a motion. Do I get a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Have a great weekend.